Willie D Live.
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you represent. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube, after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. We are simulcasting, so say hello to your little friend and keep it respectful, fam. Keep it respectful. We can absolutely disagree with one another, but always maintain a certain level of decorum in this wild, crazy, beautiful world where so many uncivilized mutts roam. Pack show today, but let me drop a real quickly, drop a few shout outs, and I'm gonna start with Sex Machine, Bubba Chevy, Pamela Hamilton, Alicia Smith, Joe Shalom, what up? Brandy Nuance, China Carter, Connie Hodge, what's up, Connie? What it do, T Gallagher, what's up? Christopher Lamont, I see you, Texas Pimp. All right, Dee, what's up there? DeAndre Durham, just in case, for the new people who don't know. Yeah, that's my partner, we tight. I can call him Dee. Everybody can't call him Dee. I'm family. So what's up? Was that Tanisha? Tanisha Henry, Jaguar. What it do? Marsha Lag. We got Zoradia from Ontario, Canada. What's up, Ontario? What it do? Hattiesburg, Mississippi in the building. I am T. Grant. Is that MC? T. Grant Mac or T. Grant? I got the T. Grant part right. Lavender, what up? Okay, fam, I'm going in. I'll come back to the comments. Going in right now. Today, fam, we got an HOA trying to hijack people out of their money. They're trying to steal houses, in my opinion. We got a school resource officer, who put hands on a youngster and got smooth arrested. We also have Donald Trump, your president, falling asleep on the job again. Usually when you fall asleep on the job, you get fired, but whatever. Dave Chappelle strikes again. Dave Chappelle dropped a new special right after the fight. I'm assuming it was right after the fight because I'd never seen it before and I hadn't expected to watch it, but all of a sudden it just came out of nowhere. So Dave Chappelle got a new special and he went in on Charlie Kirk. All you Charlie Kirk enthusiasts out there, he was calling y'all out. He went in on y'all. Boy, you need to hear this. You got to hear it. You got to hear it, man. We got a dude that was so racist that he set himself on fire. I'll explain in a moment. Bill Clinton has finally broken his silence. He's deflecting on those Epstein photo dumps. Bill Clinton said, listen to me. I did not have sex with that woman. But first, fam, some very, very serious news out of Atlanta. We got a college football player from Georgia who was found dead in a house fire. Yeah, fam. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely tragic. This happened in suburban Atlanta. Isaiah Taylor, an offensive lineman for Georgia Military College, was staying at his grandfather's house in Stone Mountain when the home erupted into flames around 1 p.m. Taylor's grandfather, Gregory Edwards, said that he was not at home when he was notified about the blaze. He said, well, I got a call from my neighbor, said that there was smoke coming out the home, and I immediately left work and headed to the house. According to WXIA TV, flames had already engulfed the residence by the time first responders arrived, and Taylor, 21, was pronounced dead at the scene. There was no hesitation in going in and searching for the victim, DeKalb County Fire Captain Jason Daniels said. We got here and we were able to establish a water supply. And again, receiving that information from one of the nearby residents stating that there was some water inside, we actually went right in and performed a search and luckily found him pretty quick. But unfortunately, he was deceased once we found him. Taylor transferred to the junior college located in Milledgeville ahead of the past season after playing for Liberty University in 2004. Georgia Military College is deeply saddened by the loss of one of our students, Isaiah Taylor, the college said in a statement on Tuesday. Our hearts are with Isaiah's family, friends, classmates, and all those who knew and loved him. Investigators are still determining the cause of the fire. Edwards got emotional when he talked about his grandson, calling him a gentle giant. He was one of the kindest person you would ever have known. He wasn't a bully, Edwards said. He was a good boy. He didn't deserve this. What can I say? I mean, that's not an easy pill to swallow, you know? You don't bury your grandchildren, he added. And absolutely, I can relate to that. You cannot, you're not supposed to bury your grandchildren, right? Relating to it in the sense that I've seen people go through that where they've had to bury their grandchildren. And that's horrible. 21 years old, the grandfather said he didn't deserve that, almost as if to say that, you know, insinuating that maybe that was some foul play. I don't know. Or maybe he's just saying he just didn't deserve to die, period. But a 21-year-old in perfectly good shape, dying in a house fire, something ain't adding up to me, fam. It wasn't like it was an explosion, right? Just a house fire. I think there's more to this story. I think there's absolutely more to this story. Here is a picture. I thought I had it ready already, but obviously not. So let me pull it up really quickly. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I know I pulled it out. There it is. There's a picture of the house. And I'm assuming that's his grandfather. I will say this, 'tis the season to be very careful with area heaters and stoves and things of that nature, things that people use to warm their homes. You know, my godfather died in a house fire. He and his wife. He actually died trying to save her life. So she was for the most part bedridden, right? And the fire department attributed the fire to the area, what do you call that thing? The area heater, right? The area heater that was inside of her bedroom. In fact, they had many area heaters. That was one in, here's an old house, right? Old house. This happened back in the 80s. So, but this house was really old even then. So the house probably was at least 50 years old back then. So they didn't have central heat. They had area heaters in every room. And there were a few times, them things used to get really, really hot. And there was a few times where actually I came close to, having, accidentally set a fire in there, just, getting too close to it or getting burned. So y'all be careful, man, with those area heaters. And I'm not saying this is the case. I doubt if this is an area heater that started this fire, because that looks like a pretty modern house. But in any event, these type of things happen oftentimes in winter months. And we're right there on the cusp of winter, I guess. We're still in, I think we're still officially in the fall. Let me look at that. Okay, yeah, we're right on the cusp of winter. Winter officially starts tomorrow, December 21st, 2025, through March 20th, 2026, in the Northern Hemisphere. That's when winter happens. So yeah, this is sad. 21-year-old guy who had his whole life in front of him ends up dead in a house fire. I still don't, I still believe there was some foul play here. You're talking about a guy who is in good health. He's mobile. He's got his faculties. A young dude dying in a house fire. You hardly ever hear something like that happening, right? So this sounds really suspicious to me, and I do believe that there'll probably a lot of new information will be forthcoming. But in the meantime, in the between time, it's important to extend condolences to his family, his friends, his fans, the schools that he attended, and the teammates that he played with. R.I.P. Isaiah Taylor. Yeah. In other news, fam, I hate to bring y'all this heavy stuff, fam, but we gotta show love and gotta pay homage, and I gotta tell y'all what's going on. So we got this story out of Williamsburg County of a resource officer putting hands on a youngster. I don't even know what the context is. I just know Buddy put hands on him. So check it out.
Bus 22. Again, that is bus 25. You will ride bus 5. And bus 20 scholars, you will ride bus 22. This concludes our afternoon announcement. Have a great evening.
Did y'all see something? Did y'all see the other officers just sitting there, just standing there looking? He's just standing there looking. So he either knows that it's wrong and he's not participating, or he thinks it's right and he's not participating. He's not getting in to try to break it up. That boy could have landed on his head and broken his neck. He could have killed him. He could have killed that boy. I do not appreciate resource officers in the schools, the way that they handle a lot of our young people. Now, I got it, fam. I got it. We got some youngsters that are wild. They like to buck. They think they bad. They swing on the teachers and all of that kind of stuff. We know at that moment, at least, he wasn't swinging on a teacher. We know at least at that moment, he wasn't trying to swing on the police officer. So why so much aggression toward our young people? Even if somebody shoots somebody in the streets and go kill 8, 9, 10 people in a church, a black church, the police know how to handle that person with care and decency. They know how to be human towards somebody when they want to. They know how to be gentle. They know how to de-escalate. They know how to be calm when they want to. Even when you kill people, they know how to be like, put your hands behind your back. Okay, well, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Just get in the back seat. But they get so aggressive with our young people oftentimes. And they manhandle them. They overdo it. I get it. Some of y'all like, man, them kids need to be there. Listen, man, I get it. But what you don't understand when you say that is you're stroking all of the kids with a broad stroke. And that ain't right. Because somebody can do you the same way. Let's say you're a lawyer. And somebody said, well, you know, lawyers ain't nothing, man. Lawyers, da, 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 da. But everybody need a lawyer at some point. And you want your lawyer to be good. And you think when a lawyer do good work, you think your lawyer was good. All lawyers are not created equal. All lawyers are not the same. All lawyers are not crooks. A lot of them are, but all of them aren't. Some lawyers have integrity. Some doctors have integrity. Many of them don't. Some politicians have integrity. Many of them don't. Some police officers have integrity. Some of them, many of them don't. So this is why I just try my best to avoid generalizations unless I'm talking about a specific group of people that follows a specific ideology, right? That's different. For example, if you MAGA, oh, I'm talking about all y'all asses. All y'all the same. All of you. You're all the same to me. Every last one of you. Uncivilized mutts. Yeah. Yeah. I don't appreciate how a lot of these police officers bully our children. They try to intimidate our children. We can talk about how resource officers are necessary in the schools. But when's the last time you saw a predominantly Black school get shot up by a student? When's the last time a Black student went into a Black school and shot it up and killed everybody? Seems like to me, yeah, they're disruptive and they get into fights and stuff, the kids fight. But it seems like to me, if you want to, it seems like to me it's more important to have resource officers at these predominantly white schools, because that's where all of the mass murders is happening. That's where the little kids in elementary are getting shot up at. Seems like to me, that's where the resource officers should be really aggressive if you want to justify aggression. That's where it should be really happening at. But you won't see such a thing there. You never see videos of police officers manhandling white kids, slam dunking white girls, picking them up and slamming. You never see that. You never see them doing white girls like that. Even the most uncivilized ones, even the most belligerent ones, even the most violent ones are never treated like that. Our kids say, get your hands up again, and just start manhandling, slamming, and all that kind of stuff. We got to stop that shit. We got to put an end to that. All parents, everybody on deck. Parents, community, everybody need to be on deck. Because here's the thing. You might be thinking you good because your kid is disciplined. Your grandchild is disciplined. So you thinking that, well, my grandchild will never be involved in something like that. What happens when they get a call and they go rushing and they grab the wrong kid and they grab your grandchild and pick your grandchild up and slam them on the ground and bust all their teeth out their mouth? Slam their head and now their brain dead. Now you see that it's everybody's problem. I ain't even got kids in school. And I'm empathetic towards the ones who go through this. I'm empathetic toward the parents who have to be subjected to this type of treatment. We got to get off this me, I thing. It's we. Because, hey, it's him one day, her the next day, and you the next day. Eventually, the bully makes his way around the room. The bully might get distracted, come in the room and mess with this person right here, and then go about their business. Then the next day, the bully messing with this person. Then the next day, the bully messing with this person. Then the next day, the bully messing with that person. Or the bully might go in and go make a beeline straight to somebody that they want to push around, and you thinking, oh, it's an isolated incident. Ooh, man, I'm glad I wasn't that person. Eventually, you're going to be that person. Just like when it comes to protecting your neighborhood. If you are dumb enough to watch someone break into your neighbor's house and you don't try to do anything about it, you don't write down a license plate, you don't record the car, you don't record them going in and out, you don't say, hey, get away from there. You don't say nothing. You don't pull out a gun and say, get out, nigga, and hold them down to the police. You don't do nothing. You next. Because this is the way a criminal thinks. Allegedly, this is what I heard. If they hit one house in the neighborhood, if they hit one apartment in the complex and they get away smooth, now they got a spot they think is a sweet spot. They are going to go back to that same apartment complex. Any of you jackers out there, you can vouch for me, you know. They're going to go to that same apartment complex. And they're going to keep going and keep hitting every house in that complex until they get jammed up, till they get their head blown off, or until they kill somebody or get caught and go to jail. That's how it goes. So what they do to the least of us, they do to the rest of us. I'm not cool with that at all, man. I'm not cool with grown men pulling up at schools, beating up children, body slamming children. If your ass don't have the skills to de-escalate the situation, and you can't take a kid being belligerent or resisting arrest and you don't know how to get them under control, your ass don't need to be working nowhere around kids. One of these days, and I do believe it's going to be one of these days soon, they're going to try the wrong one. They're going to put their hands on the wrong person's kids. They're going to put their hands on the wrong person's kid, and they're going to come up there and give them everything that they were looking for. They're going to get downed. They're going to mess around and put their hands on the wrong person's child. And they're going to be made an example out of. And I'm going to be waiting like a month. Boy, I got my 3 claps. I got my 3 slow claps reserved for that moment. I hope that young man is all right. I pray that his parents sue the police department, sue the city, whoever his employer is, sue the school, because they're liable when they have those type of uncivilized mutts roaming the campus. Personally, I think that these police officers should be outside of the school. They shouldn't even be inside of the school. They should be on the exterior of the school. They should be outside of the school and let real principals and teachers control their own classrooms and schools. And if they can't control them, then you reach out. Hit a quick number, then they come in and have to do whatever they got to do. If there's a real danger. But if there ain't no real danger, if a kid ain't swinging on you, your job is to subdue that kid. Restrain him. Just restrain him. It ain't this is my opportunity. That's how they handle our kids. Busting them all in the head, kicking them, body slamming them. And I do believe a lot of that is to indoctrinate them. They're trying to get our kids used to being in the system. They're trying to get them traumatized to police interaction. I do believe that's what it's about. Because how else do you explain when they put handcuffs on a 5-year-old kid? I still have yet to see them do it to any other kid than a black kid. How else do you explain them putting handcuffs on a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old? Handcuffs. If you can't handle a 6-year-old or 7-year, let me tell you something, fam. I know it's a different day. I know these kids eating Wheaties and drinking energy drinks. But there ain't an 8-year-old kid on this planet can whoop my ass. There ain't an 8-year-old on this planet. I'm pretty confident. I ain't seen every 8-year-old, never met every 8-year-old, but I'm pretty sure. I'm absolutely positive. There ain't an 8-year-old on this planet that I can't grab and force into a police car without punching on them. There ain't an 8-year-old that I can't grab and force into a police car without handcuffing them. So we gotta go crazy when these uncivilized mutts go crazy on ours. We got to go crazy. Every single time. That's how you do that. It's power in numbers. And you're going to let the parents go out there all by themselves and fight the battle all by themselves, then it may be an uphill battle. But when the numbers come together, they got to bow down. It was those numbers that made Chase and Bank of America and Walmart and Starbucks and all of the rest of them implement those DEI programs in the first place. And it was numbers that made them get rid of them. Because on the opposite side, you had the uncivilized mutts who said, hey, we're going to get rid of DEI, woo. Numbers. There's power in numbers. But only if the numbers unite. You must unite. Let's get into this HOA story, fam. Oh, man, this is one of those stories. If you live in an HOA community, you absolutely need to watch this video. Absolutely. There is no question about it whatsoever. You absolutely need to watch this video.
Never buy another home with the HOA.
Homeowners in the Lester Point community in Fairburn say they're living in fear.
Oh, we got mail.
Scared to check the mail, expecting a daily fine, fee, or threat of one.
Look at it, another fine.
From their HOA. Rosalind Cash is known in the community for caring a lot about her lawn. But no matter how hard she tries, she says the letters still come.
I'm sick and tired of them wasting their 44 cents, I don't know how much stamp it is now, of sending me a letter and telling me I need to cut my grass.
LeBron went to mediation with the HOA in June to fight nearly $15,000 in fines and fees, primarily for hosting a room on Airbnb that hasn't been active for years, according to his account.
Last time I had my account up and posted on Airbnb was September the 21st, 2023.
But from September 2023 to today, the HOAs fined him $150 a week.
It's ridiculous.
Trying for more than a year to get the fines removed, a new violation came.
Shuttles week 522 of $700.
A fine for faded shutters, double the amount of his yearly dues, with a lawsuit from the HOA and a lien on his home.
It's scary. Who can get up and just pay $16,000?
So, in researching this story, I found out some interesting facts about HOA. Now, I have a home that is my main home is part of an HOA, and we're a small community, and so everybody has a say-so on the board. If you're going to be a part of an HOA, that's the best type of HOA to be part of. When you get into HOA where you have hundreds, dozens or hundreds of residents, then you can start getting lost in the sauce, so to speak, right? Because the people on that board typically don't know you. They don't know everybody in that community unless that person is doing something exceptionally well or exceptionally bad, right? Or perhaps it's somebody who they just have a gripe with. So they probably wouldn't know you. It's important to be involved in your HOA. It's important to get a vote instead of just sitting back and letting them handle everything. No, you need to get involved in your HOA, because when you get involved with HOA, then you have a say-so, and now you have some power. But if you just sit back and let everybody else handle it, then you're going to run into some problems. And the HOA board decides who manages the funds, who manages the HOA affairs. So if you have an HOA and management is not good, you guys can come together and get rid of that management company. So that's what they need to do, sounds like to me, is come together and get rid of the management company. Now, who is the management company? Well, according to online reports, the management company is GRS Community Management. The homeowners have cited excessive fines, poor communication, and potential foreclosure risk for violating rules on lawns, shutters, and short-term rentals. The association has placed liens on many homes, leading to legal action despite residents feeling unable to appeal due to unresponsive management and a small board. Homeowners are advised to document everything and continue paying dues while seeking legal advice for disputes. And I can tell you that sometimes these legal disputes in regards to homeowners can go on for years, not just months, years. So you have to do your due diligence. You have to document everything. And you can't be afraid to take the homeowners to court. I mean, you can't be afraid to take the homeowners association to court. Homeowner associations does not have unlimited funds. The funds that the homeowner association has comes from the homeowners. And those funds are allocated for expenses such as maintenance, repairs, and even lawsuits. You know, that's why you got to have rental. You got to have homeowners insurance. You got to have homeowners association insurance. And so these are some key issues in Leicester Point. So they have aggressive fining. Residents receive daily notices for minor violations, lawn care, shutters, and face large fines accumulating debt. There's a lack of communication, they cite. The homeowners struggle to reach the management company, GRS, or board members to resolve issues. That's a problem. That's why you got to document. And you got to push the envelope. You don't just sit back and wait on them to attack. It's kind of like if you're in the streets if you're in the streets and somebody say they're going to do something to you, then you got to make sure that that don't happen. You got to make sure that you beat them to the punch. You did. Airbnb rental issues. Fines have been issued for inactive Airbnb listings, leading to significant financial burdens. Legal actions and liens. The HOA has filed numerous lawsuits and placed liens on homes, with Georgia law allowing foreclosure for amounts of over $2,000. Now, let me tell you this, fam. Sometimes you have unscrupulous people who work for HOAs, who work in management, and their sole purpose is to steal your property. It's a hustle. They try to steal your property. That's what it's about. It's not about community. It's not about community. It's not about unity. It's about stealing with impunity. That's what it's about. So sounds like to me that some of this stuff is a money grab, because they know how to be available to send out lawsuits. They know how to be available to send out fines. But when the person who is being fined want to contact them, they can't contact them. They know where to be found. They ghosted. So that sounds malicious to me. That sounds intentional. That sounds like they are evading contact on purpose in hopes that the statute of limitations play out in some cases, in hopes that the time that they are supposed to respond expires. Now they can say, well, you know, we sent them a letter, they never responded, we never heard from them, and thus far we're going forward with the foreclosure. That sounds like a hustle to me. Because even if they're not the ones actually buying the house, they could be getting with somebody else, a third party that says, hey, man, you send them fines, man. And you know, and for every house I get, you know, I'll kick you back X amount of money. Woo, woo, woo. That sounds like somebody trying to steal property to me. They have board vacancies. The HOA board has only 2 members. Now that's below the required 3 hindering governance. Look, they need to sue to get rid of the management company. But first and foremost, they should get rid of those 2 board members, because those 2 board members, the management company is not going to do anything those 2 board members don't direct them to do. The management operates at the behest of the board. So if the board doesn't say, hey, send this letter out, management is not going to send it out. The board runs the show. The management carries out, they execute. So the board could drop the management if they wanted to. With all of these complaints that they're getting, they should have dropped the management, but they haven't, which leads me to believe that perhaps there's some type of collusion there. So here's how to find information, general HOA advice. So this GRS management is involved with various HOAs. The residents report issues with responsiveness. So, and I suspected that they had other HOAs that they represented, right? Because most of these management companies, almost all of them, manage multiple properties. State records. Check the Georgia Secretary of State for official HOA filings. County records might show liens or management details. If you live there, keep records of all communication or lack thereof and violation notices. Continue paying regular dues to avoid further delinquency, because they count on you being so frustrated that, you know what, since they're not doing what they're supposed to do, I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do. And then that's how they get you. And absolutely, you should seek legal advice. Consult with a Georgia real estate attorney experienced with HOA disputes. You get me, fam? Operative word. Experienced. Consult with a real estate attorney who is experienced with HOA disputes. Don't let these people steal your house. And don't let these uncivilized mutts bully you. Do not let them bully you. We're not having that, man. Don't let these uncivilized mutts bully you. Speaking of an uncivilized mutt. So anyway, our president, so Donald Trump, your president, signed a bill regarding marijuana. He signed a bill to make marijuana not as druggy. I like that, not as druggy. While signing an executive order to reclassify the status of marijuana, on Thursday, Donald Trump struggled to stay awake in the Oval Office. This is not the first time. This is, at least a half a dozen times in the last month or so. All of this sleeping from an anti-woke president. It's insane. It's insane. How you anti-woke and your ass can't stay awake? You're always sleeping. Wow. So anyway, fam, this dude was at the Resolute desk and he was surrounded by medical professionals and military veterans, among others, but his neck still dropped with his eyes closing before he jerked awake. Check him out.
I have standardized dosing. Any study that you do is comparing apples to pears. And we don't know the difference between botanicals and synthetics, and all of these questions we're now going to be able to answer. 5 administrations have promised to act on this issue. The Biden administration promised to do this, and the proposal began during the Biden administration. It got mired down in the chaos and inertia and disorganization of that. And I want to thank President Trump, who made the promise during the 2024 election that he was going to come in and solve this issue, that he was going to take decisive action, and he has kept that promise today. And so thank you, for President Trump, for your vision. And because of that, we will have answers very soon. This will finally allow us to study this issue and to answer these questions for the American people.
Thank you. Yeah. Family, how you gonna be the anti-woke president but can't keep your eyes open? Always sleeping on the job. This dude falls asleep on the job all the time. I don't recall Joe being that sleepy. Let me tell y'all something, fam. The damage from Trump's rhetoric, his behavior, is way deeper than financial, legal, or institutional. You know, the greatest damage that he causes is with his manners. It ain't race. It ain't race. It ain't financial. It's not institutional. It's his manners. His manners has set America back. at least 100 years. And I know that sounds excessive, and it is. His manners, because when people watch him behave, they're watching the guy who has the most prestigious title in the country. He has the most prestigious work address in the country. He sits in the highest office in the land. And if we are looking at where we are in life and we're aspiring to be somebody, to be something, to achieve a certain level of success, you know, you're looking at, well, who's there? We need examples of that, right? And you know how it was when we were growing up. People would oftentimes say, well, you could be anything in the world you want to be if you just go to school, listen to your parents, and do the right thing. You can be anything in the world you want to be. You study hard, you know? You can even be the president of the United States. They didn't say you can even be a store clerk. They didn't say you can even be a congressman, or a congresswoman, or a senator. They said you can even be the president of the United States, which implies that that is the highest level, right? That is the most prestigious title. So when they see the president of the United States behaving like that, they go like, well, damn, if he can do it, I can do it. If he can have that type of attitude, if he can behave like that, if he can call people stupid all day, if he can say the B word, if he could say the P word, if he could joke about women's appearance, if he can joke about SN a woman or a little girl, if he can talk about hanging his opponents, killing people that don't agree with him, then I can do the same thing. And I can be president. And that's what I'm saying. That behavior has spread it throughout his cabinet. If you watch people in his cabinet, it's like they go out of their way to cuss and be mean and rude. And some of them don't even look natural when they do it. It seems like they're just doing it because they know Trump will probably get a kick out of it. So they just do it. Some of them don't even look natural doing it. But they do it because they know who their leader is. This is bad. If you hear the people, the leaders of the country that we have elected to represent us, these are people that we have elected to represent us all over the country in our respective cities and states and counties. These are people we have elected. These are the people who sit perched up in Washington, making decisions that are supposed to be good on our behalf. And they have no class. They have no dignity. They have no decorum whatsoever. You think that's not going to trickle down? You think that's not trickling down? I saw a video yesterday of a youngster talking about grabbing a woman by the pee, and his dad walked in and said, hey, we don't talk like that in here. We don't talk like that about women in here. And the boy said, well, if the president can do it, I can do it. It was one of those skits or whatever, but it's true. People look at the president and say, if he can do it, then it must be okay. if he's doing it, because we're programmed to think highly of the president. But this one right here, man, this one right here is something different. This guy, oh man, he's something different. And it's going to be a long, long, long time, a long time before the damage that he did gets flipped. It's going to be a long time. Let's switch it up a bit, fam, and talk about Jake Paul. Jake Paul says he was retiring. He's going to retire after losing his fight against Anthony Joshua on yesterday. Jake Paul was knocked out and reportedly suffered a broken jaw twice. I don't know how that happens, how you break a jaw in two places, but apparently his jaw was broken in two places. That's pretty bad. Get your jaw broken in two places. I watched that fight and I thought it was fixed because it just looked fixed the entire time. It just looked fixed. Jake Paul was running around trying to make sure that he didn't get hit by one of those Anthony Joshua overhand rights. So he was staying out of the way. And I guess that was a prerequisite of what was to come, because it looks like, a precursor to what was to come, because he looks like, he had a good reason to be on his bicycle the entire time. Jake Paul was on that bicycle and he was getting out of the way. And when they finally did make contact, it didn't look good. And I think Jake Paul ran too much. I think he ran too much because he had never fought a fight where he ran the entire time. And maybe that running would have been okay for him had he been really in shape. If he had been in shape to run for 8 rounds. But he got really exhausted, and he got exhausted to the point to where he couldn't get out of the way of the punches. I don't know any of y'all who's ever been in a boxing ring before, but if you've been in a boxing ring before, it's easy for people on the outside to look at what's happening and say, man, how did he catch him? He didn't see that punch coming? Man, let me tell you something, fam. I had a fight in Austin. It's a pro fight. I had a pro fight in Austin, and I was sick. I had a cold, but I went into the fight anyway. I fought this dude. It was a 4-round fight. So I go in the first 2 rounds. I'm still, when you work out for months at a time, you want to fight. You don't want to cancel a fight. Even if you're sick, if you're injured, you don't want to cancel a fight. So I wanted to fight. So I go into the fight and I'm sick. My everything messed up. But fight time come and I think I'm ready. So I get in the ring and I'm feeling pretty good. First 2 rounds, I'm doing whatever I want to do to the dude. I'm tagging him. Bing, 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 bing. I'm just doing whatever I want to do. 3rd round come. He starts closing the gap. Now he starts making contact. In the 3rd round, he's making contact. And he's making contact more than I'm thinking he should be able to make contact. So now he's catching me with stuff that he couldn't catch me with in the first 2 rounds because I was more alert. I was a lot more mobile. By the 4th round, I'm fighting to really survive. And now I'm trying to stay out of the way because I realize I can see the punch coming, but I can't get out the way. I see it coming, but I can't get out the way. My body won't let me get, my mind saying, get your ass out the way. You finna get hit in your nose. I can't move. So now I'm trying to get on my bicycle to make sure I don't mess around and get knocked out. Luckily for me, I had built up enough of a lead to whereas I had the first two rounds. I dominated the first two rounds. He won the second two rounds, and they called it a draw. But yeah, when you're in that boxing ring and you get tired, you start getting exhausted, your mind can tell you to get out of the way. And those punches can come really slow, and they still gonna hit their mark because that body just won't cooperate. It will not cooperate. So Jake Paul says that he's getting out of boxing. He's going to retire now. I don't believe him. I don't believe he's going to retire. I don't believe that Terrence Bud Crawford is going to retire. Primarily because it's just too much money out there on the table. It's way too much money. Jake Paul just made damn near $100 million last night. Damn near $100 million. $100 million. You know, look, fam, I'm not going to say I'll go in knowing that I'm going to get my jaw broken for $100 million. But if I suffer a broken jaw and I got paid $100 million, I'm going to heal up just fine. You know, I'm not going to, you know, I'm going to heal just fine with that broken jaw, knowing that I just picked up $100 million check. I'm going to heal just fine. Because I've had other body parts broken before and didn't get no money. I ain't get no money out of the deal. So, yeah, I can figure that out. But I don't think Jake Paul is going to retire. He is one of the biggest draws. Right now, I think he probably is the biggest draw in boxing, and he's not even what most people would consider a real pugilist. He's not really a pugilist. He's more of an entertainer, you know? He's a YouTuber, entertainer. But he's getting out there and he's boxing world-class fighters and picking up tens of millions of dollars. He made $40 million when he fought Mike. Then he doubled back and got himself $100 million out of this fight. That's good money, man. He got to get back out there. All he got to do is come back down in size, go down to cruiserweight because he went up to heavyweight. All he got to do is go back down to cruiserweight and fight guys who are, you know, who are a little bit more comparable in size, you know, because this guy, Anthony Joshua, towered over him. And on top of that, he's still, even though he's 30, I think 36, he's still young. And then he's a lot more skilled. So if they were to really have a real fight, nobody would bet. Like if it was really a fight and it wasn't fixed, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who would expect Jake Paul to win. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody who would actually bet on him. But turns out it looks like the fight wasn't fixed after all. I thought it was fixed. The way that they was fighting those first few rounds, I was like, oh man, look at what Anthony Joshua doing to his legacy. He's gonna destroy his legacy fighting like that. And then all of a sudden, he started turning up. So maybe they had a deal. Hey man, let's just kind of feel each other out the first few rounds. Let's kind of go light. Don't try to kill me, man. You know, like, you know, if you get to the fourth round or fifth round, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if we still there, then if you want to go for it, man. But, you know, let's try to put on a show for the first few rounds at least. Let's try to at least put on a show, right? And so it worked out for both of them. This fight actually has given Anthony Joshua more shine than all of his other fights combined. This one fight has given him more shine. Like he was, you know, he elevated to superstar level last night. I think after that, yeah, just bullish. Yeah, after that Tyson fight, people were just done with this thing. People were done with that. People were done with that. They were like, man, that's it, man. I really hated to see Tyson fight like that. I hated to see that fight because somebody like Jake Paul should not have on their record that they beat Mike Tyson under any situation, right? It was a WWE or WWF type of setup, but still, that icon, at the end of the day, you still see what happens is when you start looking at the history books, everybody not going to watch the fight. Some people are going to see the records as time go by. Some people's going to see your record before they see your fight. And all they're going to see is loss to Jake Paul. Mike Tyson lost Jake Paul. You're going to be like, they're going to be like, huh? Mike Tyson? So as great as Mike was, and as much as most people still believe that Mike would beat Jake Paul in a straight up fight, it tainted his legacy some. Because now people are going like, damn, you did that for a fight? You know, you did that for some money? You really tainted your legacy for some money? I add to my legacy for some money, but I'm not going to subtract from it. I add to it, but I'm not going in taking an L for it. I'm not going to put an L on my legacy for some money. I'll put a W on it for some money, but I'm not going to put an L on it for some money. No, that wasn't an exhibition. It was a sanctioned fight. Yeah, so that's how that go. Family, what's up with Bill Clinton? Bill Clinton is, he's found himself in the crosshairs of the Epstein files. Yeah. Bill Clinton breaks his silence, deflects Epstein photo dump. Former President Bill Clinton issued a statement Friday after appearing in the first tranche of Justice Department files tied to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, accusing the Trump administration of deflecting scrutiny. Several photographs of Clinton, a Democrat, appeared among the thousands of Epstein-related documents released by the Justice Department. The images include Clinton aboard a private plane, including one photo showing a female whose face was redacted, seated on his lap. Other photos depict Clinton in a pool with Epstein's longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, and an unidentified person, as well as in a hot tub with a female whose identity was redacted. So let's take a look at one of those photos. Here we go. Little Clinton. Clinton got him some young on his lap. Boy got that little youngster on his lap. Now you listen to me and you listen to me well. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. I did not have sexual relations with that girl. Now, you know that don't look right, man. You know that don't look right. Hillary going like, I ain't worried about nothing. I ain't worried about nothing because I was getting mine on the side. I already knew what he was doing. I knew what he was doing out there. You think I'm stupid? You think I'm stupid? Look at Clinton and Epstein. Like they got the same, almost like the same shirts on or something. We're brothers. We're brothers. We're happy and we colored. Look at Bill Clinton. Look at Bill Clinton in that in that hot tub, laid back. With my mind on a dime and my dime on my money. It looked like, yeah, he got another chick he hugged up with right there. So, yeah, Bill Clinton was on the island, man. Bill Clinton was on the island, and Bill was captured, taking pics and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, Bill, you did it to yourself, man, and we got to call you on that. You ain't going to be able to slide. You ain't going to be able to slide up out of that, bro. You did it to yourself, Bill. Bill Clinton. Listen to me and listen to me well. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Ooh, those Epstein files, man. Those people thought that they would never be found out. They thought they would never be exposed. I'm wondering this. Now, here's the thing. So we know that Trump sent a crew to be quarantined and redact those files, redact a lot of stuff in those files and take stuff all the way out of those files. I don't trust nobody. I think some of the people who was tasked with redacting and omitting, I think they kept some of those files for themselves, or at the very least took some photos. You can't trust people that are doing stuff like that. I couldn't trust that. They say that it was tens of thousands of files that they had to go through. They had to sift through all those files. Y'all really believe that Trump, who was Epstein's really, really good friend, are not in those files? Doing something inappropriate? Taking pictures and doing... Remember, fam, Trump said, I grab him by the peak. He's one of those dudes who believe that money can solve everything, can take care of any problem that he might have. So you know he did it. You know he grabbed him. You know what he did. You ain't really got to see it. And I don't think the files will ever come out in his lifetime. I think they'll put it out sometime. It may not even come out in our lifetime because they got a way of hiding stuff. But the only saving grace is social media, the internet. Today's technology is different. So much stuff is being exposed. You can't hide things the way you used to hide. They can't hide it like they used to hide it. They could easily quiet a person because back in the day, if they had a story to tell, they'd have to go to, if they wanted that story to circulate to the masses, they had to go to ABC, CBS, NBC, and then later Fox. They had to go to one of those guys, and then CNN. They had to go somewhere like that to get their story heard. And the gatekeepers, man, they were on point. It was like, nah, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. All you have to do is make a handful of calls and everything gets shut down. But now it's literally because of the internet, because of social media. Man, there is thousands of media outlets in this country alone, thousands. And even if you don't even have to go to a media outlet right now. If you got the right information that people want to hear, you can log on to your account with one follower, one subscriber, and just start talking. And it's going to pick up. It's going to pick up. Next thing you know, your story is out there. Back in the day, if you was dealing with a celebrity and a celebrity did you dirty, you had a story to tell, you couldn't tell that story. because that's, first of all, there was only a few publications, a few networks and stuff, and all of them wanted that celebrity. They wanted to remain in good graces with that celebrity. And if that celebrity was part of a record company or a movie studio or whatever, they wanted to maintain good relations also, because they didn't want to lose an opportunity to work with or interview other talent that was signed to that particular company, right? Or media outlet. So your story will pretty much get buried. You can't tell that story to nobody but the walls, and maybe a few people that on a personal level, but nobody would listen. Nobody would care. Now it's different. It's different. So it's a whole lot harder to keep those stories under wraps. That's why Trump's plot unraveled so quickly with Venezuela, because of the internet. It unraveled because Venezuela was able to tell their side of the story like that. And others who were involved were able to tell their side of the story. It's like, no, he's coming out here. He want our oil and our land. This ain't about fentanyl. This ain't about drugs. He wants our land and our oil. And boom, just like that, the story exploded. Back in the day, hell, he could go there, he could create the propaganda, send back any images that he wanted to. All the news outlets, who are usually in collusion, they're going to do whatever at the behest of the government. They're going to go in, kill a bunch of people, invade, do this, all under the name of liberating. Because all they have to do is say, oh, Venezuela, they sent a ship to destroy one of our ships, or they shot one of our planes out the air, and that's enough to justify war. They go in, slaughter a bunch of people, set up a military post, handpick their leader, and then control that country for the rest of the days. Well, can't do that now. Can't do that like that no more. You're going to get exposed. These little small towns, they're being exposed now. They used to be able to terrorize residents because the sheriff was the county judge or the school superintendent. The school superintendent worked inside of the permits department. Granddaddy owned the mill, and one family run the whole town. They got their cousins and their brothers on the police force. They ain't got but three police officers, but all of them are family. They are related. So who you gonna go tell when one of them harass you? You gonna go make a report to who? You gonna walk in there and look, I want to make a report against your son. Your son violated. Okay, just take this and fill it out. So what they do to you? Well, you sure it was him? Can you prove it? Well, I know it was him because I saw him. I mean, yeah, but can you prove it? I mean, you have any video or some pictures or something? No, but my cousin had. What's your cousin's name? Yeah, where do you live? Because I'm going to have to send somebody down there to get a statement. They send somebody over there. They're going to get a statement, all right. But the statement going to come from the trooper, the police officer. And that is, you shut your mouth. You didn't see nothing, right? That's how they do it. But now they're being exposed. They're being exposed. So now they can't get away with stuff like they used to. Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to give you some game right quick. Anytime you're dealing with people who are really, really powerful. Let's say they're really powerful. Sometimes power ain't about money. Sometimes power can come with authority. But anytime you're dealing with people who are powerful, who you think are way more powerful than you or maybe untouchable, you don't have to be able to match their financial situation or their positional power. You just have to have the gall to expose them. That is the last thing a bully wants, is to be exposed. The last thing somebody with power wants is for that power to be exposed, the misuse of that power to be exposed. That's how you stop them. You ain't got to do nothing else. That's how you stop them. Expose them. They talking about, yeah, if you tell so, I'm going to kill you. I'll kill you. Go straight to where you need to go straight to. Go to the media. Go to anybody that will listen and expose them and tell that people know such say they're going to kill me. So if they're going to kill me and he'll say, oh yeah, okay. So now it's like, you still want to kill him? Yeah, I didn't think so. Family, let's talk about this uncivilized mutt who tried to burn down this family's house and ended up inadvertently setting himself afire. Look at this uncivilized mutt. That's him right there, y'all. That's what the uncivilized mutt looks like. So here's a story that I got off of 48. This is WAFF. Man yelling slurs accidentally sets himself on fire while trying to burn house down, police say. A man yelling racial slurs and threatening to burn down a woman's home accidentally set himself on fire, according to a Texas arrest warrant affidavit. Tony McDaniel, 47, is charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, according to the McLennan County Jail records. The incident happened December 18th on Anna Street in Waco. Police received an emergency call about a man who was set on fire in the middle of the intersection. According to the arrest warrant affidavit, witnesses told officers that McDaniel accidentally set himself on fire and was seen running to his trailer, which was parked outside a nearby tire shop on Hillsborough Drive. Officers arrived at the scene and met with 3 victims who said McDaniel had been yelling racial slurs at them and threatened to set their house on fire. A woman told police that McDaniel left and later returned to her home with a gasoline canister. McDaniel would pour gasoline down the side of the home and into the roadway before pulling out a lighter and igniting it, police said in an arrest warrant affidavit. This is what caused McDaniel to catch himself on fire along with the roadway and grassy area near the home. Police said the victims used buckets of water to extinguish the flames on their property and in the roadway. According to the arrest warrant affidavit, police later approached McDaniel's trailer, breached the doors, and found him hiding under his bed. McDaniel was taken to a Waco area hospital for treatment to burn injuries. Once cleared by medical staff, McDaniel will be booked into the McLennan County Jail. And there you have it. I ain't got no problem with that. Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock that uncivilized mud up. Boy, you know you're really suffering. Racism really hurts you when you end up hurting yourself. You know, like if you hate something so badly that you hurt yourself in the process of hating that something or someone, you are a short bus window licking slow fool. I just don't hate anybody that badly where I am going to set myself on fire. I was going to say who raised him, but I know who raised him. An uncivilized mutt raised him. I can guarantee you he was raised by an uncivilized mutt. Like, here's what I want to know though. I want to know, to what degree was he burned? What degree? I want to know to what degree he was burned. You know, was it 3rd degree, 4th degree, 27th degree? Like, I need to know. I need to know how long it's going to take for those wounds to heal, or if they'll ever heal, right? Yeah, I need to know. I'd like to take a look at him. I just like to look. Like, hey man, say what's up, man? Hey, look here, bro. Say, man, you mind if I look at those burn wounds? You know, he's slow. I don't give a damn. Go ahead. Just don't touch me. Say, Tony, hey, man, you mind if I look at those wounds, man? Burn wounds. So let me ask you something, man. When it was burning, was it burning like burning? Or like, did you feel it? Like, you know, was it burning, or was it just burning? No, man, it was burning. He's so slow, he wouldn't even be able to recognize sarcasm. Look at this uncivilized mutt. Hurling racial slurs, sets a fire, trying to burn down the ops, and ends up burning himself down. This is one of those episodes of America's Dumbest Criminals. What I want to know is, who put the fire out? Whoever put the fire out, I want to have a talk with him. Who put the fire out? I know that they use buckets of water to extinguish the fire in the roadway and in the house, but who put the fire out on him? I really don't think it was an accident. I think that the universe intervened. I think the universe came in and did its thing. Yeah. Seems like that boy received the tan he always wanted. Damn, man, I wish they would have showed us the pictures of the burns, man. Let's see them burns, bro. Man, let me see the burns, man. Damn. Well, that's a damn shame, man, when that racism hits you so strongly that you set yourself afire. That's wild to me. That's wild to me also that he said he was going to set them afire, and they let him go and come back with a canister and actually start setting the fire. Why not at that moment pick him off? Just like, either ding ding fries and shake or just some, booyaka, boo, like something like, like why not just get him? Why sit back and wait till he do something? Let me tell you something, fam. Take all threats seriously. Anytime somebody make a threat on your life, you should absolutely take that seriously, because everybody ain't playing. There are some people, when they say I'm gonna kill you, they mean it. So I would just take every single threat the same way. I would look at, because you don't know who is going to go all the way through with it. You don't know. So why not just assume? I mean, I'm just saying playing it safe, right? If you play it safe, if you're playing it safe, you don't trust anybody. It was like somebody's ancestor said, you know what? I got this. I got this one. Yeah, I got this one. Yeah, I got this. Look like he got a toupee on his head, don't it? That look like a toupee. That's probably why he's mad. He probably mad because he got that Stephen A. That's why he's mad. That's probably why he's mad. Modern problems require modern solutions, man. I'm gonna just throw some stuff out there, and I'm gonna see what y'all catch. I'm gonna just see if y'all catch on it. Just see if y'all catch on. I'm gonna see if y'all catch on. Yeah, I'm gonna see if y'all catch on. Karma said, "Hold my beer." I like that one. I'm gonna write that down. Karma said, "Hold my beer." This look like beer too. This is lemon. This is lemon water. No, that's lemon. Hold on, tea. Okay, that's some tea. Lemon and tea. But yeah, it looked like beer though. Karma said, "Hold my beer." I got you. Let me handle something right quick. Can you imagine his kids? Like, he probably got kids. Like, what can you teach a child if this is who you are? What can you possibly teach a child if this is who you are? What can you give a child? It's going to be a long, rough road for any seed that come out of this poisonous venom that comes from this uncivilized mutt. It's going to be an uphill battle. Wasn't an uphill battle for Dave Chappelle, though. Dave Chappelle latest comedy special aired on yesterday. I think it was for the first time. I'm not sure. It seemed like it'd be a little weird that they would air it after the fight so late. But if I know Dave Chappelle, Dave would do something like that. Dave got the kind of star power that, hell, he can drop a special at halftime, and I bet you half the country would be watching Dave Chappelle's special over watching the Super Bowl halftime. I guarantee you. Dave Chappelle is the real deal. He is the standard. He's the standard. Just like if you were, let's say if you were let's say if you were a doctor and you went and you got yourself a doctorate degree from somewhere, and it would have to be some type of accredited agency. They put that stamp on there. Everybody know, okay, yeah, well, they got a pretty good education for that because, yeah, we know that they got some serious training that they put them through, and so they got a serious, curriculum. Dave Chappelle is the standard. Dave Chappelle went in on Charlie Kirk. He went in on Charlie Kirk because people were saying that Charlie Kirk was like Martin Luther King Jr. They were comparing Charlie Kirk to Martin Luther King Jr. And Dave Chappelle said, not so fast. Not so fast. So I can't play the clip because of copyright issues, but he did say, he shut down the claims that Charlie Kirk is this generational's Martin Luther King Jr. He said, the gist of what he said was that they were both shot in the neck, but that's where the similarities end. They were both shot in the neck, but that's where the similarities end. I ain't got no problem with that. I ain't got no problem with that at all. They were both shot in the neck, but that's where the similarities end. You're absolutely right, Dave. I think it's absolutely absurd to compare Charlie Kirk to Martin Luther King Jr. That is a disgrace to even mention them in the same voice, in the same breath. That is a disgrace. Let me tell you something, fam. One thing about Dave Chappelle is he's going to speak the truth in his comedy. Even if it offends, he's going to speak the truth in his comedy. And he's going to make you think. I made some notes to make y'all think. Because I wanted to, when I heard that, wait a minute, man. Charlie Kirk, comparing Charlie Kirk to Martin Luther King Jr.? Are you serious? Charlie Kirk, of all people? Martin Luther King Jr.? Come on, man. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. So here's what I did, fam. I took the liberty into making some bullet points on why there is no comparison to Charlie Kirk and Martin Luther King Jr. So here's where people make the comparison, right? They point to Charlie Kirk's age and his visibility, his ability to draw crowds, right? And of course, the fact that he died young, he was murdered, he was shot in the neck, right? So, and he was putting out a message that many people felt that was unpopular, right? But that's where the comparisons end. It's not even close. I'm going to tell you why. For all of you out there, that you slow pokes out there that might be thinking, well, I don't see any difference. I don't really see any difference. Charlie Kirk is our Martin Luther King Jr. He is our generation Martin Luther King Jr. Okay. So let me tell you why they're not close. Martin Luther King Jr. fought for people who had no power, not people who already dominated politics and culture. Martin Luther King challenged the government and the system at personal risk. Charlie Kirk operated comfortably inside a powerful political ecosystem. Martin Luther King was jailed repeatedly and ultimately killed for his work. Charlie Kirk faced criticism and pushback, not state violence. Martin Luther King preached nonviolence, even when it hurt him strategically. Charlie Kirk's rhetoric often fueled division and grievance. Martin Luther King's movement expanded civil rights for millions through concrete policy change. Charlie Kirk has never delivered comparable and social gains. Martin Luther King spoke for moral philosophy and theology rooted in universal human dignity. Charlie Kirk spoke primarily from partisan ideology. Martin Luther King united people across race, religion, and class. Charlie Kirk appealed largely that it consolidated one political and cultural group. Martin Luther King confronted white supremacy directly and consistently. Charlie Kirk defended white supremacy. He oftentimes minimized or reframed it from modern impact. Martin Luther King Jr. demanded sacrifice from himself first. Charlie Kirk's brand benefited from financially and professionally. Charlie Kirk's brand benefited him financially and professionally. Martin Luther King's legacy is defined by liberation and expansion of democracy. Charlie Kirk's influence is defined by culture, war, and victories. In short, one man led a historic struggle that reshaped the nation at enormous personal cost. The other was skilled at political activism, and he had a microphone, donors, and protection. Those are not the same lanes, not the same stakes, and not the same legacy. Now you tell me when I'm lying. Tell me one lie I told. You can't. Martin Luther King fought for systemic racial injustice that denied basic rights to millions. His leadership advanced civil rights through moral consensus and legal change. Martin Luther King faced repeated imprisonment and global opposition for nonviolent protests. Charlie Kirk operated in mainstream political spaces without systemic legal repression. Martin Luther King's mission was rooted in universal human dignity and equality. Charlie Kirk's activism focused on conservative policy and political ideology. So, as you can see, fam, they are not the same. I could keep going. Martin Luther King won broad international and interracial support and worked to unite diverse communities. Charlie Kirk's base was largely within one political subgroup. Largely within one political subgroup. Martin Luther King's legacy is global and historically transformative. Charlie Kirk's impact, though significant within his sphere, doesn't compare to a civil rights revolution. Martin Luther King willingly sacrificed personal comfort and safety for justice. While Charlie Kirk was slain, he was not targeted because of an organized civil rights stance. Martin Luther King's leadership risked nothing less than the moral soul of the nation. Charlie Kirk's cause was rooted in partisan political battles. Martin Luther King is remembered as a consensus builder across deep divides. The comparison by some supporters of Charlie Kirk often reflects cultural admiration, not historical equivalence. You see? You can't argue that, none of it, because it's all in pocket. I know you love him. I know you miss him. I know you love him. I know you miss him. But just because you love him and you miss him don't put him on the level of Martin Luther King Jr. And just because Trump and his flunkies are running around here trying to put his name on buildings and on street signs and putting his program in school curriculum, does not mean that he was special. It does not mean he was good for America. You got Confederate generals who have their names on schools. That don't make them special. China, what up? Kirk is dead for life. Somebody got a handle called Kirk is dead for life. Judah Prophet, Flo Wolf, Earl Times. What's up? What's up? What's up? Amazing Love. T. Gallagher, that's my time, y'all. That's my time. I appreciate y'all. As I said on yesterday, if you missed it, I'm going to be changing the format back, trying to figure out this algorithm. Y'all know my numbers are way down, and we're trying to figure out what's going on with the algorithm, trying a bunch of different combinations to try to, get those numbers back up. We know that the work is being done on this side, so it ain't got nothing to do with the work. We know that the people are looking for this type of information. We know that. So we know it ain't got nothing to do on this end. There's something going on, on this platform side of things. So we're trying to figure that out. So I'm going to switch that platform back up. We don't know, switch the format back up. Starting, I think, maybe Monday. I might do it tomorrow, but definitely by Monday, I'm not going to be going live at 2:00 p.m. I'll start back going live randomly, but you will get your stories as usual. I'll still be delivering you the latest news and information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. Until then, fam, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. No more talk.